Hello, YouTube! I'm back, baby! Damn right, I am back! Thank you all so much for letting me have a good time to recharge, get things in perspective, and get things back on track. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you all. And to thank you for your reward, as a reward for all of your kindness, your patience, and above all else, just good nature, I am doing a couple of videos that I guarantee you people have been waiting for. And I don't just mean this video, the one I'm doing right now. There's also a video that will be coming out on Thursday. Why Thursday and not Tuesday? Well, I'm getting my teeth cleaned. I actually had my first set done yesterday. I don't think I could do a reaction with half of my face being numb. Oh, Novocaine takes it right out of you, doesn't it? So yeah, my next one's on Tuesday. So yeah, I'm gonna spend that day lying in bed going, oh, why is my face so numb? So yeah, there's also a special video coming out on Thursday using the new system I have developed. I'm not spoiling any of it. I'm gonna have it be a surprise. But now, we are doing some LazerPig videos. Why? Because I missed the pig. And we're doing a video that so many people have wanted me to get to. I am a Pole, the legend of the Piorun. I'm also throwing in Dreadnought effect, just because, what the fuck, I feel like doing 2 pig videos. Why does my camera always do this? There it goes. My camera's weird like that. Anyway, before we watch this video, make sure you like and subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on all my social media down below in the description, and if you want to keep supporting this channel and giving this puppy dog here cookies, there's a little join button right around, I'm assuming, yeah, right around here somewhere. And so you hit that join button, you become a member of my YouTube membership. You get your name at the end of most of my regular reactions until I figure out how to put you guys in the end of these live reactions. Technology, you'd think they'd make it easy for me. But enough talk. We're here to talk about the Piorun. We're here to talk about a Polish destroyer. So let's get in with it, shall we? Let's get this video started in 3, 2, 1, and play.
Sponsored by World of Warships. Stop me if this gets complicated, okay? In Scandinavian folklore, there exists the great legend of the Hall of Warriors, located in the ancient realm of Asgard, where great warriors, the chosen dead taken by the Valkyries, will one day fight side by side with Odin during the time of Ragnarok. It is known as Valhalla.
Yeah.
Perhaps you, being a keyboard warrior yourself, may one day grace these hallowed halls of the slain. And as your eyes wander over the various warriors assembled by the fire, each one reciting their tales of great battles and heroic last stands, your eyes may turn to a shadowy figure in the background. And it may take you some time to realize that this hulking mass that you're looking at is not a man, but an 1,800-ton British destroyer, an N-class to be exact. But this destroyer is not British. This one flies the flag of Poland. Its crew gaze down at you with 1,000-yard stare. They raise their drinks in honored salute, and in unison recount the tale, the legend of the Piorun, the Thunderbolt. But first, ad time. Deep in the Norwegian forest of Umlaut lived little Timmy. Timmy loved boats, and one day he dreamed of becoming a boatsperson, going on adventures upon the high seas, fighting in large, spectacularly detailed PvP arenas. But his father said no. No son of mine will ever be a boatsperson. Ye must work down pit like a good Norwegian, he said in his perfect Norwegian accent, and Timmy cried. But great Father Norway see him, and he smile. He come to little Timmy with a gift. "Open it, Timmy," he said. And as Timmy gazed upon the wonder that was inside, his eyes were met with the USS Texas, a Tier 5 premium.
And a damn fine battleship.
That's right, piglets. Buckle your chuckle belts because I beat you not. This video is sponsored by World of Warships, a team-based, free-to-play, open-water PvP RPG. No, wait, it's not an RPG, but it could be if it wanted to be.
Oh, sire, our village is under siege from these level 3 goblins.
Fear not, stereotypical maiden, for I shall vanquish
Why
these
is
foes
he-
the power of 50,000 tons of raw, of-sharpened battle.
At least it was Pierre's Prairie Goblins.
World of Warships, it has over 44 million players, one of which is me. Come say hi. I'm terrible at this game. I need help. All you need is a PC
I can
and
help you
some
out.
money. No, wait, you don't need money. It's free. Download it now. Link in the description. Come battle your enemies with 5 different warship classes to play as. Choose from destroyers, aircraft carriers,
I
cruisers,
love my battleships,
battleships,
thank you very
and
much.
submarines, I guess. If you want to be that guy that sneaks around being all stealthy. There is over 400 ships and they just keep
some players just
adding
keep
more,
doing
with new content released every single month. I'll never go to school again! World of Warships fight in huge, stunning, open 12v12 arenas, each one alive with detail. One of these islands has this tiny little truck driving around on it, and it's so cute. Play with friends,
funny.
play alone, fight players, fight bots, fight your friends, shoot at each other with gigantic Titanic-sized warships firing shells the size of small cars at each other. What more do you want? You want some free shit? I got you, fam. Download it now, link in the description, and use code FIRE! And you'll get 200 doubloons, 20 restless fire camouflage, 1,000,000 credits! That's a lot, by the way. 7 days of a premium account, and best of all, you get the Tier 5 premium battleship USS
The
Texas.
fucking gangster
Holy
lead.
shit. Yeah, you want this, link in the description. The most devastatingly evil-looking warship ever built. You want it. Download it now, link in the description.
have it.
It's the Texas. This thing inspired the Star Destroyer. You want it? Download now, link in the description. I want this. I don't have this thing. I'm jealous. World of Warships, download it now. Code FIRE, link in the description. Do it now!
Easy pig, I already have an account. Nice.
Add Finn. Our story begins not with the Piorun, but with another ship entirely. The Bismarck. Germany's answer to the growing threats of the French and British navies. Bismarck was a testament to Hitler's refusal to acknowledge the Washington Naval Treaty, as well as some other treaties which we don't have time to get into, which limited the size of battleships to about 30,000 tons. And at 50,000 tons, this gigantic warship was one of the largest battleships afloat at the time.
Yes.
Still holds the record as being one of the largest warships ever built. She was designed for speed, her guns for accuracy, and maybe her
Welcome,
actual
Jack.
capabilities have been somewhat overstated by the culture of romanticism that surrounds this time period, but she was still a formidable opponent.
Yes.
Massive 15-inch cannons and a further 12 smaller 5.9-inch guns, she posed a tough adversary, destroying the fearsome battlecruiser Hood in a mere 4-minute-long engagement, granted with a lucky shot.
Yeah.
Any captain going against her would have had this in the back of their mind, and during the hunt for the Bismarck as she attempted to escape back to friendly waters, though wounded and leaking fuel, smaller ships were advised to simply shadow her until the
keep an
big
eye on
guns
her.
arrived, and anyone who would be willing to face her with inferior firepower would have been mad. By comparison, the N-Class was a rather humble destroyer. At 1,800 tons, she was built to correct the mistakes of the previous Tribal class of destroyers, which had
Yes.
favored guns over torpedoes, and as a result, she only had 3 turrets of twin 4.7-inch guns, a single 4-inch anti-air gun, 4 20mm, and 2 machine guns, with about enough armor to just about stop a highly aggressive tuna. Piorun started life as HMS Nerissa, laid down in Scotland on the River Clyde. After the fall of Poland, she was transferred to the Free Polish Navy before she was even completed, given a Polish crew, a Polish captain whose name I'm not even going to attempt, and a new name, Piorun. the lightning, or the thunderbolt. Sources differ. The name Piorun could equally mean lightning as it could mean thunderbolt. I've got 2 sources that say thunderbolt and 2 sources that say lightning. Piorun is Polish for lightning, and thunderbolt is Piorun, I think. I don't know Polish outside of kurwa, so your guess is as good as mine. Unless you're actually Polish, and you know the language fairly well being Polish. If you do, let me know how stupid I'm being, and I'll apologize in the comments. I'll probably be buried under all the people screaming,
We want an F-111 video. You promised an F-111 advert video. Where is it?
You know what? If this video gets a bajillion likes, I'll do it, okay? Anyway, now,
Come on,
normally in
Pig.
British naval tradition, it is considered quite unlucky to rename a ship after she has been laid down. But for the Piorun, luck would never be in short supply. She remained based on the River Clyde until she was finally completed in November of 1940. Here she would serve in the Battle of Britain, escorting convoys of smaller ships around the coast. But when she was damaged in an air attack, she was forced to return to the Clyde for repairs, but found that her docks in the nearby town were coming under nightly bombardment by patrol bombers. So the Piorun, being the Piorun, in spite of being heavily damaged and still under repairs, steamed up and down the Clyde, blanketing the skies with a dense layer of flak, risking hits from bombers every second she broke cover. Her heroics earned her the admiration of the locals, and a memorial to her stands to this day in the town of Clydebank, where I've never been, because it's a hole. And you think there would be a brave little destroyer facing off against the might of the Luftwaffe, defending a Scottish town against waves of bombers, but no, sir.
I take suggestions,
Piorun
so by all
wasn't
means,
done.
Jack, take a
She was
suggestion,
hungry for revenge.
and
She
my
wanted
team
blood.
will vet
She
it.
wanted to make her mark against the Germans and remind them that Poland was down, but not out.
Yeah, but not here.
And in May
Not
of
here.
1941, she would get that chance. In the aftermath of the Battle of the Denmark
there's
Strait,
one
with
of
the
our
hood
admirals
having
right
been
there. Hi,
sunk by the
Tribal.
Bismarck,
It's a great moment for the German Navy.
Yes, Lindemann.
Nope! Stop!
And for the 2 of us.
Oh, really, Pig? Okay, stop. Okay. Now we're back. Now I'm back in full swing. I'm back to pausing my videos. Okay, so... Okay, I need
and
to
the Prince of
Okay,
Wales.
I need to get that off. I need to get that off the screen. Okay, so... The scenes you're seeing right now are from the movie Sink the Bismarck. Good film. Wholeheartedly recommended. It's actually on YouTube. The copyright ran out on it, so you can watch it. It's entirely on YouTube. But yeah, this is from the movie Sink the Bismarck. Now, Sink the Bismarck does a pretty good job of staying accurate. However, this is the big one. In the movie, Admiral Lutyens, the senior commander of the Bismarck, not the admiral that was on her, commanding the fleet of Bismarck and Prince Eugen, the cruiser, he is portrayed as like a wholehearted Nazi supporter and full-on, yeah. However, history says he was not like that. History, his crew, his family. And not only that, a lot of people look at him. He was not a Nazi. There is like tons of evidence that Lutyens was not a supporter of the Nazi regime. In fact, there's even evidence to support that his family might have been, like, in some level Jewish. There's a lot of hearsay here, but the one basic thing is that Lutyens was a very pessimistic, very definitely not a supporter of the Nazi regime. There's even this famous picture of just before the Bismarck and the Prince Eugen left, of Hitler inspecting the ship, and then you see at the end excuse me you see that no, I haven't already done this one. I think you're thinking of the old extra history videos where I did the Bismarck first. I think that's what you're thinking of, gamer. But But this is for all the new people here. This is for the people who come from my LazerPig video, so I'm still going through it again. So anyway, famous picture. Hitler's inspecting all the junior officers, and everyone give that stupid, I'm not gonna do it here, that stupid evil salute. But Luchin's, because he's the commander of naval tradition, all this stuff, he gives the standard, the old-fashioned naval salute. He does not, he did not kowtow to it. So it was, it just shows you history is complicated and weird. So yeah, it's weird. It's weird. As to why Luchin stayed, yeah. Well, Luchin's was a good man. It got to the point where, like, basically it was Rader and Durnitz who tried to get as many from. There are reports of like many like former Jewish officers being protected by high-ranking admirals. So there's a lot of there's a lot of weirdness and hearsay due to missing records or no records or word of mouth. There's a lot of interesting stuff. It just shows that the Nazis were completely fucking insane and stupid and moronic. So more than likely, there were probably some people that slipped under the radar or had friends in higher places. And plus, believe it or not, Hitler did not like the Navy at all. He did not like the Navy. He was an Austrian army brat. Well, he was an Austrian. He moved to Germany, joined the German army during World War I. Yeah, he was an army bitch. Well, not a bit. Anyway, he was an army asshole. There we go. He was an asshole, but I don't know. I'm digging myself a hole. Let's keep moving on with it. Anyway, he loved the army more. He wanted the army. He thought the army would bring victory and blah, blah, blah. So he basically kind of left the Navy alone. In fact, after the Bismarck and the Tirpitz, he basically stopped all battleship production. But anyway, yeah. This movie, while extremely accurate, in fact, crazy fact, this guy that you see on screen right here, he's he's portraying the captain of the Prince of Wales battleship. Funny fact, this guy was actually on the Prince of Wales during it. Yeah, this guy right there, who's portraying the captain, was actually on the bridge when it got hit. That's why he's like, you were there. You saw everything happen. You're the captain. But yeah. So, yeah, in terms of this movie, like, when you see Luchin's talking, yeah, don't take it, like, it's a great movie. The effects are awesome because they're all practical effects, but yeah. I wholeheartedly recommend this movie. It's a good movie. It's a really, really good movie. It's a nice one, too. Anyway, we're gonna continue on.
Was heavily damaged. Britain was devastated. Its national pride.
Yeah, the guy who they got to play the captain of the Prince of Wales was on the... So, there's this great scene, and this actually did happen, of the Prince of Wales getting hit by, I think it was actually from Prince Eugen. It got hit in the bridge, nearly wiped out almost the entire bridge crew, except for the captain and a few other officers. And one of those guys was that guy who played the captain. It was insane when I found that. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, you were there, you saw what the captain did. And pretty much that's what he did. It was pretty crazy.
Had been hurt, and it demanded vengeance. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill would send out an order down the chain of command to every battleship, destroyer, cruiser, submarine, and fishing boat with a rifle duct taped to the front.
Yep.
That would countermand all other
Sink
orders.
the Bismarck.
Find that bloody ship and sink it. At the time,
Your
Piorun was on
Scottish
escort duty
is
with
showing.
4 other destroyers heading for the Indian Ocean. 3 days in, and the order came through, and they were detached from the convoy to join the hunt. Now, the Bismarck might have been a very, very large ship, but in comparison to the entirety of the North Sea, it was, well, let me put it like this. Finding the Bismarck in something the size of the ocean was like trying to find a single drop of coffee in an entire swimming pool filled with fish. They're just flapping all over the place, and you need your caffeine fix, but where the hell has your boyfriend hidden that cup, and what kind of prank even is this? Anyway, Bismarck. By now she had 4 battleships, 2 battlecruisers, 2 aircraft carriers, 13 cruisers, and 21 destroyers, along with a mix of numerous aircraft and a cruise ship out hunting for her in an area of
Queen
ocean
Mary?
over 220,000 square miles in size. To put that in perspective, if you were to take all that ocean and convert it into farmland, you could grow enough turnips to create your own turnip moon. That's how big we're talking here. However, because this battle is largely told from the British perspective, much emphasis is placed on the actions of Force H. Force H was flagged by the battlecruiser Renown, Hood's sister ship. The crew were anxious.
Nope. Alright, Pig, you've made an error. The Renown was not Hood's sister ship. Hood didn't have any sisters. Hood was from the Admiral class. They originally were planning to build 4 of them, but the war really kind of ended before the other 3, were really laid down. So it was just the Hood. So Hood didn't have any sister. The Renown is from a smaller batch of battle cruisers, I believe of the Renown class. So, yes, this is not Hood's sister. She may look similar to her, but she is not Hood's sister. She's actually smaller, and she actually has less guns. I mean, yes, they're the same caliber guns, 15 inchers, but where Hood had 4 turrets, Renown only had 3. She was a true battle cruiser. She was basically a mini battleship with heavy cruiser armor. So, yeah. Sorry, Pig. I just heard that. No. Yeah, I will grant it. It's an easy mistake. It is a very easy mistake, and sometimes you put them all together because at the time, let me think. England only had at the time 3. Was it? Yeah, 3 battle cruisers at the start of the war. They had Hood, Renown, and Repulse. By the end of the war, they had only 1. I believe that was the Renown. Yeah, it was the Renown. The Renown was the last of the battle cruisers because Hood was sunk by Bismarck, and then several months later, Repulse and Prince of Wales, the ship accompanying Hood, were sunk by the Japanese in the South China Sea. So, yeah, Renown was the lucky one. Anyway, continuing.
Anxious to avenge her sunken sister, but she was ordered not to engage. Only the carrier Ark Royale, which did not even have its full complement of aircraft on board, could safely strike at the Bismarck, famously jamming her rudder and preventing her from maneuvering during a series of low-altitude torpedo runs. This would be the death of the Bismarck.
Yeah, that'll work.
And in the morning, the home fleet would arrive, and the final battle of the Bismarck would begin. However, before this engagement, another lesser documented battle took place. Destroyers of the 4th Fleet were ordered to shadow and harass the ship with torpedo runs throughout the night. Piorun paired with the destroyer HMS Maori and spotted the ship just before sunset, making her the first ship to actively spot the Bismarck during the final battle. After reporting her position and confirming that the Bismarck was indeed unmaneuverable, the Maori moved off to begin her torpedo run. But as the Maori looked behind her to see if the Piorun was in position, they saw a horrifying sight and realized that something was deeply, tragically wrong. The Piorun was charging directly towards the Bismarck at full speed. Worried her steering was jammed, Maori broke radio silence and attempted to hail the Piorun, but received no response. On board the Bismarck, the crew, now at battle stations, turned their attention to the small flotilla of British destroyers, and were surprised to see one apparently charging them. In disbelief, they watched as the tiny destroyer turned, showing its full broadside to the Bismarck, and with both its signal lights and its wireless, transmitted the message, "I am a Pole," before it opened fire. For over an hour, the 2 ships fought mano a mano, pride of the German fleet versus one single Polish destroyer. The Bismarck completely unable to hit the Piorun as it dodged and weaved through fire, ignoring the numerous orders to fall back, all while continuing to broadcast, "I am a Pole, 3 salvos for the honor of Poland," directly at the Bismarck. Her confused crew trying desperately to keep the tiny ship in view as it fired salvo after salvo. And when I mean the Piorun was firing salvos, I mean it was firing all of its guns. The 4.7 inchers, the anti-aircraft guns, even the machine guns were firing. There's even tales of all the crew out on deck, screaming insults and shooting pistols, throwing trash at the Bismarck as they strafed her, at one point even bringing musical instruments onto the deck and singing the national anthem of Poland.
Wow!
Eventually, with the Bismarck's gun throwing great plumes of water over...
Alex! $33 for... Thank you, Alex! And yes, 3 salvos for the honor of Poland! God, are you sure this thing wasn't that, like, Piorun isn't a translation for honey badger? These fuckers don't give a fuck! Mother of Christ! Jesus, these guys... Yeah, this is why I am so glad Poland is on our side. I'm sorry. Poland, Finland, those are the two countries you don't fuck with. Yeah, God help us. Poland and Finland teaming up. Like, I can only imagine, like, Russian troops moving towards the NATO borders, and then all they just hear is the snow speaking Finnish, and then coming over the radios, the message, I am a Pole. If they hear that, I guarantee you Putin's going, nope, 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 fuck you, nope. Poland and Finland. You know what? Here's the thing. NATO, America, listen up. Yeah. Oh God, yeah, Canada. I am sorry, tribe. I completely forgot about you Canadians. Here's the new battle strategy. Here's what we do. America will no longer get involved in any NATO conflicts or anything like that. No Americans, no Brits, no French, no Germans. We're just gonna send the Finns, the Poles, and the Canadians. That's all we're gonna send. From now on, when shit hits the fan, it's gonna be the Finns, the Canadians, and the Poles. We send those three fuckers in, the war is over in an hour. Yeah. After witnessing this, hearing all the shit about Canada, and also knowing everything about Finland, it's official. We're just sending them to go kill. We're gonna just send them, like, you know what? Here you guys, here's some weapons, here's some camo. They're the Russians. Go commit war crimes. Go ahead. Have fun. Have a blast. Fucking killing me, boys. Go ahead. Oh God. Fucking A, God, are you, what? They just charged the biggest fucking battleship in the fucking Atlantic. And they're barely a droplet in the ocean. Holy fuck.
With a tiny Piorun at a distance of less than 20 meters away, the ship was finally forced to break off its engagement. It would remain in the area defying orders to return to port until its fuel reserves forced it to finally return home.
They ran out of fuel.
After the smoke had cleared, post-analytics of the Bismarck's final battle with the home fleet showed that the Bismarck had hit absolutely nothing. In spite of firing almost every shell she had, the only damage reported was HMS Rodney, who had shattered part of her own mainframe from firing her guns at point-blank range.
Yes.
A major contributor to the Bismarck's sluggish performance had been down to crew morale and exhaustion. The entire crew had been on battle alert for nearly 48 hours, and consistent night attacks and harassment had led to the crew just simply not being able to focus. After all, exactly how much sleep can you expect to get when you have an angry Polish warship screaming at you, flashing its lights, throwing trash and singing all night? Piorun would remain in service, operating in the Mediterranean, guarding convoys, even took part in Operation Halberd, the largest convoy attempt to resupply Malta, the invasion of Sicily, and even the Normandy invasion, engaging remnants of the German surface fleet off the coast of Brittany. After the war, she assisted in the decommissioning of German U-boats before she was returned to the British, where she became HMS Noble and was finally decommissioned in 1955. While in the British retellings of the sinking of the Bismarck, the story of the brave Polish destroyer who took it on single-handed at a time where ships far more powerful than her were afraid to...
Spartan. Here's the thing I've learned about Canadians. You don't have to ask them to wage war. They don't even have to be in the army. I can just say, hey, Canada, there's some guys over there. They're starting shit. They're just gonna be like, oh, give us a minute, day. We'll be back. We don't know about them, but we'll be back. Yeah, do not fuck with Canadians. Believe me, I always have to walk on eggshells whenever I have admin meetings with Tribal, because he is Canadian. And
even approach, has been assigned to the footnotes of history, its presence and courage overshadowed by the more interesting British exploits. In Poland, it has lived on in legacy. The name Piorun would be reused, with the new ship's naming ceremony inviting survivors of the original ship, and even commemorating it on a special coin, proving that the legacy of the ship is still alive and maybe deserves a little bit more recognition. I, for one, feel that the Piorun has earned its place in Stovacore.
Really?
What did I say?
You said Valhalla.
Anyway, something. I need a drink. I hope you learned something. And again, special thanks to World of Warships for sponsoring this video, which is no word of a lie, a game I do play and actually enjoy. Plus, it was nice to have a sponsorship offer from someone that wasn't an obvious scam. Get a lot of those when you're a small channel. So anyway, come join me in World of Warships, code FIRE, get your free Texas. It's a damn good ship. I don't have a Texas. That thing is 5,500 doubloons. You get it for free, you lucky sods. Anyway, to World of Warships, this one goes out to you. And I'm not even sorry.
No. This was before he... Oh no. Oh no. Please don't spray into karaoke, pig!
Where can you find pleasure? Search the wealth of treasure, then science, technology. Where can you begin to make your dreams all come true on the land or on the sea? Where can you learn how to play in sports and skin dive, study oceanography? Sign up for the big and or sit in the grandstand when your team and others meet. In the Navy, yes, you can sail the seven seas. In the Navy, yes, you can put your mind at ease. In the Navy, come on now, people, make a stand. In the Navy,
I just heard every battleship like the
Navy. Come on, protect the motherland. In the Navy, come on and join your fellow man. In the Navy, come on now, people, make a stand. In the Navy, in the Navy.
Alright, okay, before everyone disappears, hold up. We are gonna do another fucking video. We are doing the Dreadnought effect, because I felt like doing two today, because hell fucking yeah. So while I get this set up, but yeah, holy fuck, bro. That fucking Polish destroyer. God damn. Damn, the Piorun be fucking excellent. Now, let's take a look at the Dreadnought effect. Let's see what this is all about. As soon as I turn it on, do this, and... Alright, let's take a look at this. Because I've heard him use Dreadnought effect before. Wait a minute. Isn't this from...
War.
Oh. I knew this was...
War never changes.
Fallout, of course.
Actually, I think you'll find it completely does. And in this 2,000-part documentary I filmed on a weekend, completely sober, and you cannot prove otherwise, I shall show where this fucker is completely and utterly incorrect. My name's LazerPig, and welcome to the internet.
What the fuck? Really? Pig.
I'm always amazed just how many people take their military history knowledge from memes and video games. In particular, button-mashing, nipple-twisting, rivet-counting simulator DCS World. A game that teaches you everything about modern fighter aircraft, except why you don't get invited to parties. But the one that always got me was that famous line from Fallout. War or never changes. Which is so ingrained into modern culture, if you scroll down far enough in any comment chain where war is mentioned, you'll probably find someone quoting it. And what people never seem to realize is just how wrong a statement that is.
So wait, I'm not alone? I'm not alone when I thought that line was bullshit? I'm not alone. There's people like me out there. There is hope.
War changes. It changes a lot. In fact, war changes so frequently it may change several times during the course of one war.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
this is where military enthusiasts and hobbyists might get confused. Stop me if this sounds familiar, okay?
They're replacing my favorite thing with this new thing. But this new thing can't even do half the stuff my favorite thing can do. My favorite thing is still the best in the world at doing this, and this new one sucks. It can't even do X half as good. Why are they replacing it? Stupid government, stupid generals, doing it all for money. They have no idea what they're doing.
To give you an example of this, one of my most favoritist of aircraft is the Avro Vulcan.
Ooh.
Built in the 50s as part of Britain's nuclear deterrent, this
choice,
delta-wing
good
aircraft is
choice.
one of the most striking and one of those beautiful aircraft ever built. Fight me on that.
No,
I will
you-
die on this hill.
No,
Shut up.
she is a
And as
beautiful
heavy bombers go, you don't
bird.
get
Love
much
her.
better. This thing flew rings around the American heavy bomber squadrons and frequently outperformed them at various international war games, and even ran the blockade of advanced US fighters in the 60s, dropping simulated nuclear bombs in New York. Twice.
Yeah.
It took part in one of the world's longest bombing raids,
Oh,
flying
yeah.
6.6 thousand miles to bomb Port Stanley during the Falklands conflict. And when it was finally replaced in the late 80s, it was replaced by this thing. Something that was hardly even a third its size and could barely hold a tenth the payload.
Yeah, how exactly does this replace the Vulcan as a heavy bomber?
As you can imagine, when I was a child, this infuriated me. I hated the Pavia Tornado for daring to replace my favorite aircraft while having the audacity to be a clearly inferior machine. Yet, if I ever saw the Vulcan brought back into service today, I wouldn't celebrate my country's leaders making the correct choice. I'd be worried. I'd be extremely worried. You see, war changes. War changes a lot. And it may change in ways that we don't anticipate or fully understand. In terms of the Vulcan, the world where it is a viable weapon simply no longer exists.
Yes.
In the world
absolutely.
of precision bombing, there is no
Yes.
place for large, expensive, heavy bombers dropping huge payloads over a wide area, hoping to hit something. These days, you can cripple a factory or a military target with almost pinpoint accuracy. You don't need a heavy bomber to do that when a smaller, cheaper plane can do it just fine. Z10 fans are quick to remind everyone.
The missile knows where it is at all times. It knows this because it knows where it isn't.
This is the one thing that most military hobbyists and enthusiasts will always fail to understand. Their perception of war is typically stuck in the ideology of the Second World War and of the Cold War. They marvel over ideas like combined arms, moving columns of tanks followed by supporting infantry and artillery smashing through the front lines, of paratroopers sneaking into weak spots behind enemy lines, of blitzkrieg, great tank duels, and heroic last stands. They truly believe that war never changes.
Uh-huh.
So when their favorite vehicle or piece of equipment gets replaced, they inevitably believe that this new piece of equipment should do the same thing, perform the same role, only better. And they often get very confused when it doesn't. It doesn't often occur to them that the role their favorite vehicle once performed now simply doesn't exist.
Exactly.
Because, well, war changes.
All the
A
time.
single new piece of technology, a new tactic, a new way of thinking can just flip everything on its head. And at any moment, something could come along that could make everything that came before it almost entirely obsolete, utterly changing the rules of the game. Now this is called the Dreadnought effect. Named after the ship HMS Dreadnought, one of the most powerful warships of her time, and one whose construction had somewhat disastrous consequences for the Royal Navy.
Oh yeah, big time.
Now, prior to her construction, warships were interesting.
Can I just say this? Like, I said it already. The French floating hotels. Look at that shit! That's a French pre-Dreadnought battleship. Holy fuck! It looks like a fucking it looks like a cruise ship that somebody said, "Oh, let us put the artillery on there, or let us put the let's put the artillery on the cruise ship, and then I'll men have the best baguettes in the thing." Oh, we went back into the fuck the British and fuck the Americans. Oh. Look at this shit. Yeah, well, then you're smarter than most people, Spartan, because most people do take it literally. Oh, bro. Yeah, exactly. None of those fucking It's just out there to throw stale baguettes at the enemy crew and maybe some empty wine bottles.
Pre-Dreadnought fleets were
look at
arranged
that
into
thing.
often numerous specialities. Heavy warships would be equipped to deal with those specialities. Big guns were heavy and couldn't track smaller targets, so a larger ship was always vulnerable to something smaller, with lighter guns capable of getting in close to start causing damage. As a result, warships tended to be centered around a larger battery of often 1 or 2 guns, and then surrounded by a considerable number of smaller guns, allowing it to deal with almost anything that was challenged by it. This was until the launch of Dreadnought. Dreadnought was the brainchild of Admiral Jackie Fisher, who came up with the concept of a fast, all-big gun battleship. Not the first person to come up with this idea. Italy, Japan, and the United States had all been pursuing similar ideas, but for one reason or another had decided just to build regular warships. The concept had worked for the United States before, during its war with the UK in 1812. You see, back then, the bulk of the Royal Navy was in these large third rates, which the United States simply just couldn't compete with. They took a long time to build, and, well, by the time they built one, Britain had another 4. So instead, it constructed the 44-gun frigate USS Constitution, which was powerful enough to overpower any Royal Navy frigate it came across, fast enough to run away from anything larger that it simply couldn't handle. Fisher wanted a modern ship that could do just the same. Rather than be a pickle of different guns for different situations, he wanted a ship that was all big gun, so it could outgun anything at range and be fast enough to escape anything it couldn't handle. Armored enough that anything that couldn't outrun wouldn't be much of a threat. The result was Dreadnought, Latin for fear nothing. Launched in 1906, it caused a ripple of panic through the world's navies, but not the ripple the British were expecting. You see, at the time, Britain had the largest navy in the world, so much so that no single navy in the world could compete with it. To even consider taking on Britain's navy, a country would have to spend so much of its resources building ships, it would bankrupt itself long before it was able to consider itself safe. Dreadnought represented a new way of thinking. It was so much more technologically advanced, it outclassed everything that came before it. There was not a single ship afloat that could challenge it. So much so that we now refer to any ship laid before it as a pre-Dreadnought. Captains of these pre-Dreadnoughts began referring to their ships as 20-minuters, in respect to just how long they expected to survive in a fight with the Dreadnought. And this was the problem. Now, rather than being required to build giant navies full of different and expensive ships to take on the UK, a country simply needed to build more Dreadnoughts, and Britain only had 1. Meaning the person who had 2 basically ruled the waves, and by proxy, the world.
Yeah, this is the main problem when you had here's the biggest issue that it had. Britain at the time had the mightiest fleet in the world because, again, well, the main reason Britain had such a mighty fleet was because they're an island. Whereas most other countries in mainland Europe were mainly focused on armies because all of them lived so close to each other that they were within insult distance, which usually culminated in war very fast. England, on the other hand, literally just had to sit on their island across the channel and go, oh, look at them stupid, like, fucking mainland Europeans. What a bunch of dipshits. They can't cross the channel. All we have to do is keep building more ships. So, yeah, they kind of got a jump start. While everyone else was picking fights with their neighbors over borders, rivers, mountains, and insults, England was looking at their great colonial empire, so they needed a navy to move their smaller, more professional army across the places. So when other nations looked at this and were finally, when Europe calmed the fuck down, they're like, okay, we're all set. We don't have to worry about anybody ever suppressing us in it. Britain, when did you get that big navy? Do you know how long it's gonna take us to equalize? I don't expect you to equalize, you filthy mainlanders. Ha ha ha. But yeah, so that happened. But then, when England breaks out the Dreadnought, which surpasses everything ever built, like you said, we're starting again from 1. And Europe is like, oh, you fucked up now, tea drinker. Now, we can be equal with you. Yeah, you could probably, I think everyone could collectively hear, like, the House of Parliament collectively shitting themselves when they came up with this. Oh, good lord. Yep. When you have to start over from 0, everybody's in the game.
The Royal Navy had shot itself in the foot.
Yep.
With this single shift, this single advancement in technology, they had figuratively wiped the slate clean. This resulted in a massive multi-nations arms race, as each nation now attempted to build as many dreadnoughts as possible, and Britain was forced to ramp up its naval production and axe most of its existing fleet.
Yeah, now they were sweating like everybody else
which
did.
could never have hoped to compete against Britain's vast navy, were now considerable threats to her. And this is the Dreadnought effect, and it has happened numerous times in our history.
Yes.
I spoke about one example in part 2 of my A10 video, where Iranian F-14 Tomcats were able to shoot down Iraqi planes from such a vast distance away, the Iraqi planes were not even aware they were under attack.
Yep.
An example where a single advancement in technology has nullified the strength of the previous generation model, born under a doctrine of understanding which is no longer relevant, possibly even detrimental. Other examples have included infantry anti-tank weapons, night vision, drones, stealth bombers, radar, jet engines, rockets, machine guns, precision-guided missiles.
It knows this because it knows where it...
Shut up!
Aircraft carriers, infantry fighting vehicles, canned food, longbows, chariots. The list is endless.
War keeps
Every
changing
so often
and evolving.
something comes along that completely rewrites the rules of war. The modern military has to try and stay one step ahead of this game, reacting to this new technology without either pricing itself out of the game or opening up gaps to existing technology. It is a constantly evolving Cold War-style arms race that has been going on since, well, the Cold War, and is largely the reason why a lot of things seem to get replaced by things that we, as hobbyists, who are always going to be one step behind, are not going to fully appreciate or understand.
Yes.
Take, for example, Mike Sparks' famed love.
Oh, we're talking about Mike Sparks. My head just got a bit of a shock from here. Oh, good lord.
113. In his mind, this is the best APC money can buy. It's light, it's fast, it's highly adaptable, it can carry 11 men and their equipment, It makes sense to him that whatever replaces it should be able to outperform the M113 in every aspect of this role, do the same job, but better. So when it's replaced by the Bradley, which is slower, carries less men, and is...
I think, okay, number one, I think we should all collectively give the fucking Bradley a break, because from what I've been hearing, it's been taking names and kicking ass in Ukraine. So yeah, I think it was just us having an issue with it. Maybe it wasn't fancy enough. Maybe it didn't have the built-in deep fryer everyone asked for. I don't know.
not near even half as adaptable, he becomes confused. And in his confusion, he strikes out, looking for the conspiracy, for the idiot that obviously took backhanders to put this inferior machine in service. His ego prevents him from realizing that the error is not the US military, but himself. It's far easier for him, and many like him, to believe himself intellectually superior to the multiple star generals of military procurement. But the reality is, the Bradley just simply performs a different role than the M113, or the Gavin as he likes to call it. The role that old APC used to play now simply no longer exists, and transporting huge amounts of troops in lightly armored vehicles has become less of a priority, since any APC now has to share a battlefield with enemy infantry transported in and supported by what are essentially light tanks.
Yes!
And with no ability to defend itself against those tanks nor support its own infantry, it has become nothing more than a highly vulnerable death trap for everyone inside, meaning it has to drop off those transporting troops before it hits the front line, making it strategically the same value as a truck. Of course, to Sparks, this is an insult to the proud history of the M113, so he grasps at any straw he can find, going so far as to suggest it could fly, pointing at other nations who still have these vehicles in service as justification, and ignoring the fact that these nations rarely keep these vehicles in their original APC configurations, regulating them to secondary or support roles, using them as training vehicles, or as in use by nations whose military budgets simply cannot afford to replace them. And this is the unfortunate fate of all military vehicles. Even ones that are in service now that we all know and love will eventually be regulated to secondary roles and replaced, probably within...
And then you get stuff like the Abrams X, which, if everyone remembers from way back when, nearly gave me a full heart. Like, it literally sent me through the roof just looking at how beautiful that is.
Our lifetime. Unless it's the B-52.
And
I presume...
Yeah, fair enough. The B-52, nothing's gonna replace that thing. That thing's gonna be in service even after I'm dust.
Someone in the comments, probably Mike, in about 30 to 40 years' time when the F-35 is finally replaced, will mock me for ever supporting it as news comes that once again, finally, the US military admits 50 years later that the F-35 is no longer fit for purpose. But, cries the hobbyist, brushing aside pieces of his unfinished Tamiya model, Cheeto dust flying from his fingers as he aggressively slams his putty fingers into his RGB gamer keyboard.
2004, the F4 million Wubba Wumpas beat the XM Woodley Diddly Spot in an aerial combat exercise over the... Yes, I know. Shut up.
Please.
Aerial combat exercises. Okay. An F-16 once beat an F-35. A Raphael once beat an F-22. A single British carrier once obliterated the entire US eastern seaboard, so on, so forth. In 1993, an F-15 and an F-16 flying in a simulated training exercise were shot down by a Pavia Tornado, a bulky plane that cannot dogfight, that has seen more use providing strike missions than air superiority. But does that one incident mean we should replace all F-16s across the globe with the Tornado?
No.
A clearly superior fighter. No, of course not. Shut up! Exercises like the ones mentioned above differ from regular training exercises in that they're not used to showcase or prove which one is best. They are often closed-loop situations where pilots are restricted from reacting in certain ways in order to test capabilities under set conditions. The military will then spend years poring over that data, trying to figure out if the problem is pilot, plane, or entirely situational, and not likely to be repeated. In this instance, it was not repeated, and pilots, even veteran pilots going against rookies,
tell of how difficult it is to get the upper hand against the F-35. Of course, we're not privy to such information on the exact parameters.
Yeah, it's almost as if the military is keeping classified documents secret in order to keep people who don't like us from knowing our capabilities, so they don't share them with us public normies, because they don't want us sharing that information, whether by choice or by accident, with our enemies. In this video, Pig said war never changes. Well, basically this whole video has been about war never changes. Let me tell you what warfare is like nowadays. Nowadays, I think everyone is looking at the world and expecting World War III to happen any fucking second. With the shit happening in Ukraine, the shit happening in Israel. I'm not going to talk about that because it's too much of a can of worms for even me to talk about. I don't want to get involved. I'm just like, I have my thoughts on it, but I'm leaving them with myself. But but back on subject. The whole, what World War III would probably be is not what you think it is. It's not going to be us getting drafted, thrown into uniforms, given a gun, and sent over to Europe and Asia to fight the Russians and the Chinese. With gunfire, us coming home in body bags. That's not going to happen. The wars that are happening right now, Russia, Ukraine, the Middle East. That's going to be it. And the big nations are probably not going to get involved. Let me tell you what's probably going to happen. Unfortunately, it means that a lot of the smaller nations are going to be doing most of the fighting. While the big nations, what we're going to be doing is basically the stuff we're already doing. It's not going to be the nukes. Nukes are giant paperweights because in the end, nukes are only... Nukes are never going to be used by Russia or China. Ever. Never. Never. Because nukes are never going to be used. It's going to be just like the Cold War. Maybe a little hotter, but it's not going to be but it's still going to be just like the Cold War. But there's not going to be nukes. Nukes are nothing compared to the most powerful thing on the planet. And we have access to the most and here's the crazy thing. Everyone has access to this weapon. We have the most dangerous weapon on Earth. More powerful than nukes. It's almost as if it's the finger of God. And the scariest thing, in my opinion, all of us have access to it. This is it. This is it right here. This is the most dangerous weapon on Earth. Information. Everyone sees a smartphone. It's information and disinformation. It is the perfect tool of counterintelligence and intelligence in one. Thanks, Marcus. Oh, and thanks for the $2. Yes, I am feeling better. But yeah, this right here, with just a few clicks, people can spread lies, false information, true information, reconnaissance photos, the works, all in HD and at speeds unbelievable in modern time. All the military press in the Pentagon, all the military analysts, they're not looking at satellite when the war in Ukraine and Gaza started, they weren't looking at satellite photos. They were surfing Twitter. They were looking on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. That's where they were. That's what they were looking at, because these photos are up close, personal. Everyone has one of these, and they are everywhere. These things are the greatest weapon, more powerful than any nuke. That is why. Look at the world. With just a few button presses, there is so much disinformation out there. That's why I don't touch it. That's why I don't really touch it. I just give my personal opinions. In fact, I state they are my opinions because I'm not trying to spread disinformation. But all of those, Look at the state of the world with just a few clicks. A few clicks on your phone can start revolutions, can start wars, can plan anything. This is the most dangerous weapon, and the scary fact. Here's the scary fact. It's scarier than the fact that we all have one. It's uncontrollable. There are so many people that will say, "Oh, we can try to control it. We can try to." It's impossible. It's all impossible. I'm not scared of it, though. Why? Because I know myself. The issue is the issue, in my personal opinion, is mind over matter. Yes, it's a dangerous weapon, but I just choose not to use it. I got more important things to do. Entertaining all of you guys, petting that puppy dog. But yeah, so in terms of what World War III is going to be like, it's just going to be a number of proxy wars, and all the big nations are going to be doing is feeding our friends in those proxy wars weapons, aid, and information. That's exactly all it's going to be. The big nations, America, Russia, China, they will be feeding their allies in those proxy wars guns, food, medicine, and information. That is it. That is all we will be doing. That's all the big nations are going to be doing. Is it shitty and sad? Abso-fucking-lutely. But that's how war is right now. And who knows, maybe in a few years, maybe all war will be is fought on computer. Could you imagine if War Thunder itself turned into a battlefield? Like, that's where wars are fought now, on computer screens. And I mean that, like, just within the realm of cyberspace. That's probably what's going to happen. So war does change. It changes too often. And nowadays, this is the most powerful weapon we have. Not nukes, not anything else, just this. That was weird how it was blinking. But yeah, just remember, you got the most powerful weapon in your hand here. This is more powerful, in my opinion, than any gun, any nuke, any bomb. Just remember that. Like, I want everyone watching right now, and in the future, just take a look at your phone. I mean, just literally, like, take a look at your phone. If you're watching this, keep looking at it. and just imagine it as the most destructive red button. Imagine it as a big red button. Look at it like that and just stare at it for a few seconds. Consider this an experiment. Stare at your phone for a few minutes and just imagine it as a big red button of destruction. A little scary, isn't it? Just imagining that this thing could... But here's the hope of it. You choose. And this is something to take pride in. You choose not to press that big red button. Instead, you press another button to come here and watch my videos and laugh and have fun and overanalyze and yell about history and all this other stuff. To look at my puppy dog be adorable. To watch me lose my mind over all the stupid shit. You choose. You choose not to press that big red button. Instead, do something else with it. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. So yes, you guys have the choice, and you're making a lot of good. In a lot of cases, you make a lot of good ones. So take pride in yourself about that. You don't press that big red button. Go out there and try and tell some more people to stop pressing that big red button. Watch some more videos. Send them my way. I need the money. Watch some other guys. Watch Josh. Watch Will. Watch Lightning Bliss. Watch LazerPig. Watch Mr. Beast. Watch them all. Use your big red button instead of for causing destruction. Use it for this stuff. I've talked long enough. We're almost done with this video. Let's keep going.
There's an eventual outcome of such tests, but what we are privy to is the various news sources grabbing such stories and running with them. Some because they are state-run by rival nations, others because stories of how much everything sucks sell better than just how everything is great.
Yes! That is the biggest... Yes! Yes! Oh my god! That is... That's right. That's the biggest thing here. Shitty news sells better than good news. Drama always beats no drama. Why do you think I've always been bitching? It's always because, like, I'm trying to be here and be positive and be a good guy, and yet all the drama is surpassing me. You know what? Fine. I'll just say, I'm gonna say this. Stop watching shit about, like, Sniper Wolf. Come watch me and the guy she was messing with. Ignore her. Ugh.
And slowly, this all gets filtered down the shit pipe until it is used as evidence by die-hard fans of whatever thing X is replacing, and how much it sucks, and how we should all just upgrade their favorite thing, which is clearly better. And on and on and on and on it goes. Right back to medieval times, where you will find letters and diaries written by scholars and nobles protesting that their nation has wasted so much money on this loud, unreliable gun invention, which will obviously come to nothing when a crossbow can do everything it can and better. If I were to give you any advice parting from this, don't form emotional attachments to military vehicles. No. They will never love you back. Anyways, that's all from me. Skateboard. Wee. Hello, it's me, LazerPig. Not going to be a song this video, I know, so sad, because I have a throat infection and singing is pain. So instead, for this one video, if you'll bear with me, I would like instead to do a reading. And as it is still November and no one's quite ready for Christmas, I thought I'd keep it Halloween themed. So this reading is from one of my favorite vampire movies of all time, a small little indie film called From Dusk Till Dawn. Very popular, you might have heard of it. And this reading comes from a point in the film where our group of heroes are unwittingly walking up the stairs ready to enter the vampire stronghold.
How long is this?
And the head
Holy
vampire
fuck!
emerges and delivers this very, very haunting speech. And it goes as follows. All right, pussy, pussy, pussy. Come on in, pussy lovers. Here at the Titty Twister, we are slashing pussy in half.
Okay, enough. I'm not getting demonetized. I'm sorry, but no. Even I have limits. Even I have limits. Man, we got philosophical this time. Great video. Pig at the end. What the fuck? So, Lord Almighty, I am back. Spartan, I guarantee you, it probably is fucking funny. It's just I don't want some fucking Karen in the middle of Minnesota fight me, coming in and striking my channels like you did nothing I said and blah blah blah. No, not happening. Really? Really? Leave my forehead out of this. But yeah. Yeah. Funny as all hell, but even I don't want Karen Mom. I don't need that drama in my life. I don't need it anymore. I just got over a lot of it. Anyway. I am back. Like I said, next Tuesday I'm going to be off because I'll be in my bed. With half my face being numb again, which I am not looking forward to. But yeah, I'm back. And Thursday, I've got something that $10 says a lot of people have been waiting for me to do, have been wanting me to do. Who, you can actually thank my admins and friends for this. They said do it. So here we go. So, until the next video, you know who I am. I know who you are. I will see you all in the next video. See ya, everybody.